Anyone that knows me knows that one of my favorite racing drivers competing right now is that quick lad from Russia, Robert Shwartzman. After it was announced that he was not returning to Formula 2 in 2022, I found myself scrambling around, wondering about where he'd go and what he'd be doing this year. Luckily, I didn't have to look far, as it was announced that he'd be Ferrari's official test driver for 2022. All is well now, right? No. Being close to a Formula 1 factory team is always great, especially when it's a team as prestigious as Ferrari. However, a driver as young and as talented as Shwartzman can't stay in a testing role forever. With all these thoughts bouncing around in my mind, I put the pen to paper and wrote up the script and made this video to reassure myself that everything would be okay. What's gonna be his next move? Where's he gonna race next? Let's find out. My name is Intern, I talk wheel, and this is What's Next for Robert Shwartzman. Alright, now, loyal fans of Intern know that me talking about this guy's junior career is akin to that of a broken record. So to break that tradition, I've enlisted the help of one of the biggest and the best wheel talkers that this platform has to offer. Josh, take it away.
Yeah, it's me, and I'm here because of course, how could I not? Intern knows wheel, in the same way that Alan Jones knows cheeseburger. And how could I not collab on a video about Robert Shwartzman, or as I like to call him, Bobby Schwartzy, because this dude is bathed in a sea of accolades that more than complete the resume of a Formula 1 driver to be. For 10 years, he cut his teeth in the karting scene and accumulated some pretty good results, at least by the time he finished. 2014 though would herald the beginning of his car racing career. Debuting with Cram in Italian F4 midway through the year, Bobby would make his impression right from the get-go by being outraced by, of all people, this guy. But don't lose hope because he came back for the next year for a full-time assault at the Italian F4 title. This time with Muka Motorsport, he would finish P3 behind Ralph Aaron and Guanu Zhou, bearing in mind that both Aaron and Zhou were linked up with Prema, so this was a good result for Bobby. And over in the German Championship, he finished P4 that year, the highest of the Muka drivers. For the next 2 years, he partook in the Formula Renault Northern European and Euro Cup Championships. He racked up 8 wins in those 2 years, with a best result of 3rd in the 2018 Euro Cup season. I know, that don't sound like much, but of course, there was more to come. Starting the 2018 season, he headed over to New Zealand to compete in the Toyota Racing Series. It was a winter series, taking place in the New Zealand summer, but it had the likes of Richard Vershaw, Marcus Armstrong, Clement Novalak, and Waimoa Correa competing in it. And despite only winning 1 race, as well as Vershaw and Armstrong being the favourites for the title, Bobby broke through to become the 2018 Toyota Racing Series champion in the final race of the year. And by now, Intern's check is cleared, so I'm going to hand it back over to him.
Thanks, Josh, and make sure to subscribe to him if you haven't already. Now, Robert would join Prema in 2019 to contest the Formula 3 Championship. And what do you know? He went on to win the championship that year and got promoted to Prema's Formula 2 team for all his troubles to team with Mick Schumacher. Despite dealing with the tragedy of losing his father before the season, Shwartzman came out of the blocks immediately, scoring a podium in his first ever feature race at Austria before winning the feature race the next week in the Austrian doubleheader that next week. Though he started well early, his results did begin to fall off and he only managed 4th in the standings, with teammate Mick Schumacher winning the championship and securing a Formula 1 seat with Haas for 2021. All was not lost for Shwartzman, however. He finished the 2020 F2 season with more wins than any other driver and would contest for the title again in 2021, this time being paired with Oscar Piastri. Bobby would only score 2 wins that year, finishing 2nd in the overall standings as his teammate Piastri won the title. During these F2 title runs, Shwartzman would also participate in Formula 1 tests for Ferrari, as he became a member of their driver academy back in 2017. Ferrari had seen all they needed to, and signed him to an official test driver role in 2022, which is where he currently stands. Being within such a close proximity to a team as prestigious as Ferrari is brilliant, but surely he can't be a test driver forever, and given the current sanctions on Russian drivers due to the terrible ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, getting Shwartzman into F1 won't be easy. However, if he is to, the best chance might be at Haas. Kevin Magnussen recently signed a multi-year deal with Haas, and with Mick Schumacher on the rise, he'll probably be looking for a more competitive seat, given Haas can't deliver it. Were he to leave, Shwartzman would be a great choice as his replacement, seeing that he's tested with them in the most recent Formula 1 Young Drivers test in Abu Dhabi. Alfa Romeo is another shout, as he was once scheduled to do a free practice session with them during the 2020 Eiffel Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. However, that session was cancelled due to inclement weather. The other hope he has is becoming a reserve driver for Ferrari and maybe getting a one-off drive with Ferrari should one of the drivers miss a race for whatever reason. One-offs can make a career. Just ask Michael Schumacher, or even Marcus Winkelhock for that matter. There are opportunities outside of Formula 1, however, and one thing I always say is that F1 is not the end-all be-all of racing. In comes the World Endurance Championship. Ferrari announced plans to contest the top hypercar class of the World Endurance Championship at some point in the coming years. Shwartzman to me would be a great young driver to center a program like this around, due to his links with Ferrari, his relative youth, and his time testing for the Formula 1 team. If he never gets to achieve his Formula 1 dreams, you best believe a Le Mans victory or two would more than ease those pains as a fan. There's also IndyCar, a series that has already seen former F2 talents like Callum Ilott and Christian Lundgaard go over and find relative success. Shwartzman could easily go that route, and with enough good drives could find himself in a race or championship contending car in the future, as the IndyCar ladder is way easier to climb than that of F1. Another avenue I've had in my head that he could do for maybe a season or two was also DTM. After seeing Liam Lawson's great rookie season in those GT3 cars, I remember looking at that and saying, I wanted Robert to have moments like that. If AF Corsa do come back to the sport, they could field a full-time seat for Shwartzman so he'd have something to do in the midst of his F1 testing duties. And who knows, maybe a DTM title or two are in his future, which will only add to his accolades and improve his image to future racing employers. At the end of the day, however, all of these are just speculation. I still believe in Robert, and I know he's super talented. I do want to see him get that chance in Formula 1, though there are many that don't think he's ready. I at least want him to get that chance so we could know for sure. And if F1 never happens, so be it. There are many series around the planet where he could easily make a name for himself and become a star. And he definitely can. He has a charming personality and the speed and talent to back it up. I don't know what's next for Robert Shwartzman, but I do know that whatever it is, I trust him to make the most of it to the best of his abilities. My name is Intern, I talk wheel, and thanks for watching.